Ever wondered about the safety of vaccines? Are you skeptical, perhaps even warned against it? Allow us to flip the narrative and guide you through the reassuring world of vaccination with our irresistible propaganda. Indulge in the ultimate fusion of safety and progress with our vaccine. Discover the thrill of making health decisions as sexy as they are responsible. Our sultry and secularly biased experts promise a journey filled with safety, fun, and social acceptance. Zero vaccine shaming here. Unleash your passion for protection and let the chemistry of care guide you to the perfect vaccine match. No side effects, no fuss, because in this intricate world, every illness you may have acquired is better explained by life's complexities than casting shadows on the wonder of vaccination. Don't miss out on the hottest decision you can make. Ask your doctor which vaccine is right for you.
Our vaccine nurses are not just adorable, they are highly trained professionals who are available to guide you through your immunization journey.
Good viewer, you are watching Xirtus. This is because Xirtus makes you feel good, makes you feel fulfilled. You are enjoying this. You will continue to watch Xirtus for a long time to come. You want to subscribe to Xirtus, and you will. You will like and subscribe and share. You will tell your friends. Tell your friends about Xirtus. Your friends will come to like Xirtus, much as you are liking this right now, as we speak. Thank you for subscribing to Xirtus. See, that was easy.
This next story has been suppressed by mainstream media. Let's go to Andreas for more.
Everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians!
Recent Tartarians! Recent Tartarians!
Hello. Welcome to the Xirtus. Tune in for another exciting episode of wonder, imagination, and discovery.
Recent Tartarians!
Она образует всеобщие закономерности, определяющие законы классической физики для нашего
Sometimes I
мира.
look at the moon and just think, the skin's beautiful.
Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown.
Что касается энергии наномер, то она превышает ядерную в немыслимое число раз, 10 в 74 степени.
That's it. That's it. That's it. With your arms now. That's it. That's it.
Thank you for watching Xirtus. Keep listening. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please follow and subscribe and share and support. It really helps. Coming up next, Xirtus.
By the way, that's gone. If you didn't record that, that's gone forever. It's gone.
Well, for those of you who survived the hypno sacrifice to the bowel of Google's YouTube, welcome to the show. This is introducing Sean Hibbeler. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me, guys. And thank you for the love and support of just having me on a show like this. And also hello to your wonderful audience.
Yeah, dude. Awesome to have you. Dude, well, I know that you're, well, let me show people also, you know, we'll go to the rock fan, but first, if you check out his sweet site, hibblerproductions.com, you're kind of notoriously making a bunch of awesome documentaries about all sorts of things. You know, you can see, like, if only I could just zoom in on that banner. Can I do that?
I don't think so, man. I got
look what I did. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Like,
I'm amazed.
Look at this. There's this amazing, look at this, kind of reminds me like Metal Gear Solid 2. You know, you should definitely play this game. And yeah, but he's doing all kinds of interesting stuff. And well, do you want to talk a little bit about your angle? What you looking at? The truth? What you trying to find out?
Just transparency and truth, man. That's it. I don't really consider feelings. I just make it, you know, I make it raw and to the point of fact. I don't really try to make films that are gonna do anything more than number one, raise awareness. That's always my goal, is to raise awareness. We can't win a war. We can't do anything without raising awareness of our neighbors, our peers, the ones that think we're crazy and stuff. So you got to raise awareness, but you have to do it on a 101 basis level, right? It's like we know so much about so many of these rabbit holes. We forget that our peers know nothing, and they think we're stupid on top of it. So I've tried to study just the psychological warfare that they have put on us and how they got us. How did they all just force us into this matrix for most of our lives? And it's through film, it's through TV, this is how they do it. This is the main programming, is videos and film. So I'm like, how can I do that that recipe, study their recipe, but now flip it into truth and transparency and wake people up, like where you're done and you're like, I can't fight this anymore. I have to wake up. And I get, it feels like hundreds of thousands, but I'll just say thousands of emails in the past 4 years that, just changing people's lives and families' lives and the way they have an outlook on their future. And, I'm blessed to be a soldier of God, to be put in the position I am, to have the ability. It's just this little guy, right, to do these things and make impact and change. And then I try to network with people that are doing the same. So this is how we change the world. I'm just trying to do it from a 101 standpoint. I do have some sequels of films I've made, but they get a little more advanced, if you want to call it that. But generally speaking, any topic I try to hit is going to be a 101 basis, including the old world, because it's important. It's important, man, because you can't just start, Dr. Narco Longo and stuff, or all this advanced stuff. It's like, by the way, he's in the film, he's awesome, but it's just the advanced knowledge that obviously you guys and people like-minded have, even more, way more than me, on this topic. It's like, I'm still lost in this sometimes, right? It's so much stuff going on with the old world that it's hard, to compress it into an hour, hour, 20 minutes, maybe compress that and keep it simple. So your neighbor can go, okay, you're not crazy. Holy shit, I didn't know that. And these are just doors I want to show people. They get to walk through them. When you're done with the film, it's their choice. I can't force anyone to wake up, man. I'm not trying to either. Go ahead, sorry.
No, awesome. I just want to ask, so what is it exactly that you want to demonstrate with the Old World Order documentary? I mean, it sounds like before you've done amazing jobs compiling the information and the zeitgeist of what's going on at that time, about current issues and the current news and the current fake news. What about the fake history in that respect? And what's your plan for this?
Well, it's kind of, I won't give the whole recipe away for my angle on this film, but it's more along the lines of our collective history via Rockefeller, via his goons, right? These people that put together these asylums and systems and schools and all this stuff for what, right? And for me, it's an overall, architecture, the timeline of when they say these buildings were built. All of the, I try to, let me reword it. I tend to focus more, if you watch my work, on the deceptions, opposed to, hey, I know that this was a battery. I don't. I could touch on things, I could show people things, but to say like this, that, I don't know, or it was a mud flood on this day and this, I don't know, I wasn't there, man. That's not my style. I wasn't there. I can show people some doors and say, dude, what does this look like? I mean, it does look like it, right? So, but I'm not trying to punch any speculations down people's throat. We do have to speculate. We have to. It's the way it is, man. You got to bring receipts, though, with speculation. You got to open the mind with speculation and have them go, you know what? That makes sense. If I can't do that, I fail. So in terms of facts, it's more about, what's right there in front of you, man. These buildings that, for me, it's a timeline, architecture, the hilarious, 5-year-old story. I feel like it was written for a 5-year-old. The World Fair, it's like the whole thing they tell us about it. I just feel like they wrote it for 5-year-olds. Like they'll believe this, and it's like, wait, what? So it's just kind of shedding light on the deceptions of look at this. I caught him in this lie. Zoom in on that, right? Why are they etching things? Why are they doing photo manipulation? And again, that's where I got my work started, was, shedding light on NASA's deceptions, obviously. And it came to a point in my life when I woke up to the NASA's deceptions and faking all these images of Earth and all these things, that I was like, you know what? Because it took me about 10 images. I'm like, oh, that one's fake too. With NASA, meaning like, I'm like, oh shit. After my 10th, for years, people are like, what about this one? What about, no. Well, this one looks real. You know what? That does pretty look good. I don't need to look into that one though. I'm sorry. They faked 10 of them. What does that tell? Why would they do that? So I started focusing. Then I started opening my mind more and going, you know what? Let me go back. Let me double check. Especially before I released the film, like, let me check that. Especially in the beginning stages of the NASA stuff. People send me. I'm like, all right, before I release this, I got to check what that guy said, because he's like, this one's real. And it'd be, everyone was 0 for 150. I mean, it's like they send it, I dissect. I'm like, dude, this is faker than the last one. So I'm like, I'm done trying to make excuses for them, meaning this one could be real. So I was kind of looking at that with these construction, images of, look, there's a couple Masons with a hand in their pocket. They built that shit, right? It's like, dude, you got to be blind to not realize there's something going on. Where's the construction crew? Or the slaves, the prisoners? They got these weird stories, as you guys know. And it's like, where are they? Where's the architect at the day that it's done? Where's the architect when it's half built? Like, hey, take a picture, something. Where? I thought you won a contest, bro. Like, where are you at? Oh, you're in another state building another building at the same time as the building this one? Like, and both took a year? What are we talking about? These are silly, stupid things. And I think they're so stupid that people just believe them.
One thing for sure, whatever was going on when these buildings emerge is just out of control. And we wish we were doing this any time in history. This is peak. This is pretty peak right here.
That is beautiful. Where is that?
I think this is probably in Russia, but I don't even know for sure. I just clicked on this.
Is my guess. Yeah, Russia or Germany. Oh, China. Oh, no, that's an ad. Deals on thousands of Chinese. Okay.
Yeah, although you never know, because it could be.
I know China had some old world, but damn, that's what I was gonna say.
But if you look into Taiwan, like Formosa, like Taiwan was Dutch Formosa, and so Formosa was definitely very Tartarian. I don't know if I can find pictures of it before, like a lot of the decimation, but like architecture, it's all looks like
show a little bit of Tartarian stuff, barbarian, Caucasian, the Caucasias. There's a lot of old maps and old civilizations and empires, but this film specifically will not be.
This is a Western.
I don't think anyone said Tartaria in the film, to be honest. This is more
about focusing on the old world in general.
Everything. From airships to again the lies of the construction, the world fairs, a little bit of the technology. Again, I want to keep it simple, man. I don't want to start antiquitecking for 20 minutes and lose people because they don't know what the fuck we're talking about. So I have to stay simple. Even a little meltology. Things have to be mentioned. Things have to be shown. It's the right time. It's the right time. I rewatch my film when I'm filming. I mean, when I'm producing, and I'll watch
need to know this
of a sheep, right? Like whatever you want to call them. I mean, no disrespect, just the point. I'm like watching it like, this is gonna be stupid, and I literally have that mindset. And I play back my shit, and I'm like, all right, let me change that actually because they're stupid as fuck, and I got to change that for them. Then I watch it back as a truther, as one of you guys, right? One of us, and I'm watching through that mindset to make sure you're not bored. Because you already know this. You already know that. But if you're bored, the documentary sucks. So it's a fine line, but my main focus is waking up the people, not your feelings of how entertained you were with information you already know. And that's literally the only backlash I've ever gotten, really, from the truth community as a grand scale, is I already knew that. Good. Show your cousin now. That's my job, man. That's my job. Right. I hope someone's job is being the advanced, crazy, the best documentarian on every topic in the world. I'm not necessarily trying to be that. I'm trying to wake I'm trying to wake humanity up, and I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it in my strategy, my vision, my connection to the source, right? My God, our God. But through God, it's I have to do this. I don't have a choice. If
So
I
yeah,
sleep on, if I sleep on this skill set and this ability, and now with the networking I've done and connections I have, if I sleep on it, I might as well just get hit by a bus, man. What's the hell? Why am I here? And I have a purpose. I'm going to continue to thrive with it.
So do you feel like you have like a pretty solid cosmogony, like a thesis of the way the universe works and how like history of humanity and foundlings, or do you think like you're still on the path of curiosity? Like are you like still wondering like about most of these things, and it's like more questions have opened because of it? I mean, it's both. I mean,
it's both. It's definitely both. I think it has to be both for truth seekers, because we don't know it all, and we have to continue to learn and talk to one another instead of like trying to fight. Like, oh, it's this map, it's this map, it's this map. There's Antarctica. All the fights. There's not more land. Oh, there is more land. Stop fighting. Stop fight. I'm trying to kumbaya, right? Whatever it is, because I'm just at the point now where everything's a lie, man. I mean, there's really not much else to say about it. They have created a system, and if you want to know who they are, listen to Michael Jackson's song. But they've created a system, okay, especially in this country, to make us this melting pot of stupid people. Simple as that. And they've succeeded up to this point, okay? And it's hard to go against the grain of what everyone universally believes in terms of where they live, who they are, where they came from. It's all connected. The old world, the earth, all this stuff's connected. I even think it ties in with trafficking, to be honest. And a lot of things are connected, and they're hidden, and they're in plain sight. And I think the rulers, they just put it in plain sight, man. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to call that, but I see it every time, and I'm like, why would Joe Biden just say like,
oh yeah, my God, today it's supposed to be
like, yeah, but they had the right roof on, and it's like, but that, right? That example is exactly what I'm talking about. And I see that through all my work. It's them telling us. It's them. It's self-disclosure after self-disclosure after revelation of method. All these things happen, and you see it. You can't just go, I don't want to see that. I don't want to live my life. Well, you live your life. You're about, you know what I mean? Like, what life, man? Well, they're doing a lot of shit. So I try to approach it from, I think my audience has grown over the years because my market is, again, your neighbor. Like, I'm the one that got him to go, whoa, shit, oh my God, it's not a conspiracy. What? I'm that guy that'll help that process. And then they go from there,
For the wider, yeah.
They have their journey after that. I'm not there to hold their hand after that. I'm just trying to show them a door, man. I hope they walk through it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and respecting the fact that like we're always questioning and we don't know everything, but still in like search of thesis, like what do you think is your understanding of how the world has gotten to be the way it is now? Like, let's go back, because you're doing an old world thing and like you're looking at what do you think?
Completely theorizing, obviously. We weren't there.
Exactly.
To paint this kind of picture, it just seems like something happened. Late 1700s ish. I don't know exactly, but it seems like something happened, and I don't know if it was worldwide, if it was just kind of centralized somewhere. I don't know if it was man-made. God did it. I don't know. I lean toward God did it, but maybe the Nephilims and giants were very evil, and they brought the vibration of everyone down completely. They did something with the good technology and reversed it and started draining the electricity, draining the energy. I don't fucking know. But
or volcanoes. History Channel will do it all three ways. Yeah. But
true. A good point. Yeah, History Channel, God. But at the same time, it's kind of, I have this again, it is a fantasy vision because I wasn't there, but this is what I see, and I see this empty. I'll just pick on the USA. It's most of my research, about the old world is that it shouldn't be, but it is. And the USA just seems like it was just all built out, like Chilaga's just sitting there, bro. Like, it's beautiful as shit and got electricity, it's got technology everywhere. It's probably airships are parked, who knows? And it just seems like it was built out. Parts of the world possibly, or the country, were not flooded out in the sense of destruction, but they were flooded out in terms of, their height, their girth maybe. And it just, July, exactly. It just seems as if, like, hey, they're like, dude, we got a bunch of dry mud here. Just fucking throw a road down eventually. And, I'll quote Dr. Narcolongo, not verbatim, from the film that I'm working on with him. And he said something along the lines of, if you're the first person to ever take a photograph of a building, ever, you have the right at that point to make an argument that you built that shit. It was one of those rants along the lines of just throwing scaffolding up and maybe taking a dome off or breaking something. And it's like, yeah, we're building this, guys. We're building this. So I look at the whole thing as like someone, somehow, I'm a firm believer that there's more land, guys. Let's just be real. Way more land. So I'm again, believer, because I don't know. A lot of receipts. So it's kind of a no, but either way,
right.
If there's more land, and possibly another sun, moon, and star. I mean, we don't know anything. The stars can go forever. We've never seen all that. That's why they fake all this stuff. So we don't know jack shit even about like the full-on cosmology. We have our scientific facts, of course, to back it up that this is a stationary plane and the sun, moon, and stars are revolving around us. But at the same time, we don't know anything past a certain point. So if you speculate, which is what we're doing, I feel as if that these people came from an outer land, the top hat breed, whatever you want to call them, or possibly reptilians, possibly something else. I don't fucking know. And they came here and they saw this beautiful, I won't even call it architecture, technology. They saw the stuff. They possibly figured out how it works. In the process, they planned their new world order, man. They're licking their chops. They're evil, low vibration men. And they're like, well, we could run this entire place. And what are we going to do? Well, we need to bring kids here. We need to educate them, we need to educate them basically on what we want people to know about all of it. And in the process, they torched every city to the ground. They burned all these cities to the ground and had these world fairs where for me, the world fair even seems like this fantasy, wet dream of them to say, how are we going to take all those down? Fuck. Like, it's going to be way too obvious at that point. Maybe it was getting more populated. They're not perfect. They probably overstepped their boundary. Too many people are here now. Fuck. What are we going to do? We got to take most of these down, man. Well, let's build a couple. This is my opinion. Well, let's build a couple. Okay. Let's have fresh fucking paint for when people visit. Like, hey, come on into the fair. Yeah, I'm just painting. We just finished. I feel like a lot of these fairs, there's always that guy in the corner, like painting something. Like, hey, how are you? Yeah, we just finished this one. We did all of it, by the way. No big deal. We're finishing up, right? And I feel like people are coming in and they're like, yeah, the fair's over, And by the way, we just threw that up with plaster and stucco and shit. So like, we're just gonna take it all down now. And of course, the comeback of the community, generally I've read, is that they're like, no, save this one. We love this one. And how dumb do you have to be back then to think that stucco and what are you talking about? It's you could see stone and marble in half the photos. I mean, you see the quality. It's like, oh, it's temporary. 10,000 people are walking on the second floor, but it's temporary, right? It wouldn't cave in if it was temporary, would it? So it's just a funny. It's like, the explanation of a ball Earth. I mean, it's silly. It's 5-year-old shit. And the explanation of the World Fair, that's how it is to me. And the people that want to fight me. And, oh, no, here's construction photos. Look at that. Yeah, man, here's photos of the Earth. I get it. I get it. And one thing I want to say, I want your opinion on this, since you're way more advanced knowledge into this field than I am. But is, a few things probably. But, for me, it's like, if they're going to fake construction photos, I think back in the day, they probably just did it with the negatives, in the dark room. And there's different ways to do things, etching and all this stuff. But I think as the technology advanced in reality, meaning if me and you could go back to 1975, okay? We're back, time machine, 1975. Let's go to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago and see if they have the same construction photo there hanging on the wall, right? Let's see, because maybe it wasn't made yet. And I always think that, where the general public was such in a trance, 70s, 80s, 90s, everything was controlled, everything was matrix. No one's asking questions about this building, dude. No, Michael Jackson or someone, is live on TV. Millions are what? It's like, well, dude, no one's asking questions. So I feel like we went to 1975 is my point. I want to see the records of construction then, because now I look at some of these construction photos, right? Images. And I'm like, dude, this could have been made in the 90s. Like,
yeah, I mean, well, also
meaning just inserted on Wikipedia. A lot of these inserts you look like 2012. Like that's the evidence. That's their construction insert. 2012 they put that in for the public. Okay, this is JFK all over again. Didn't come out for how long? So it's like, we not us, but like a lot of people forget. No matter how real it looks, Photoshop's been around for a while. Not to the public, but to them. I'm not talking about the 20s, guys. I'm not stupid. I'm talking about the 80s, 90s, and early thousands, okay? They could do this stuff, and these are the photos we're seeing now. That's why there's one of them, two of them, three of them, super high def. Like, whoa, hold on. What are they doing? And some of them are still kind of lazy of the old school ones where you see the whiteout or the etching, or there's stuff you can notice, or stuff they try to get out, or an airship that they just so they just dump whiteout on it. Like, no, we can't have the airships shown. But it's crazy to me. I want your opinion on that, man, because I just feel like it's not hard to fake this stuff, and people can't grasp that. It's just like NASA Earth stuff, I swear. People are like, no, look, this is there's 4 angles of the Field Museum here. You see the sticks, and then I'm like, dude, whatever, man. I'm like, that's no one's paying me to believe that shit. So
AI at this point, you can make anything look completely real. I mean, AI in the last few months has gotten beyond the capacity to be interpreted. A year ago, 6 to 7 months ago, you could still tell if an AI picture, and you can do it for most of them. Like, you could tell if an AI picture was fake with like software, because AI, they could tell AI is fake. But now you're getting to the point where you can't do that, because it's trained so well that it knows how the composition of pixels are supposed to go. And you look at it, it's like, this is perfect. But going back
to my point, that they can. I want your specific opinion on what I said about
like 19th century.
Yeah. Meaning, okay, we all know about photo manipulation, the Victorian, this, that. We all know about that. But
and it's pretty impressive.
It is. It's the point of knowing they could do that then. Okay, well, so they could fake some stuff then. I'm granted they did. I'm talking about now, though. Now it's like every week I research stuff. All of a sudden now there's more construction photos coming in. They look even faker to me. But it's the point, I feel like because people have caught on, they could be dumping these out.
Bro, I could be fake right now and you wouldn't know. Like, I could literally be an AI video of myself right now. Like,
That's true.
I mean,
That's true, man.
I might be. But with the 19th century, there are some questions. I mean, so you said some things like, and I agree, like these are all questions we all have, right? So we're all asking these questions, and like something happened, and we kind of agreed like something happened and some things changed. But looking at things like Schlaga, what do you think about like Harlem and Schlaga and these like New Orleans, these big cities, Charlotte, Galveston? Do you think of them as being, I mean, when the arrival of the Occidental people, or these, these Atlantean, American, British, like the colonialists, whatever we're calling this, like late 17th century period invasion, who are living in these buildings, or are people living in these buildings? Is there still power? You're saying that there was this maybe like volcano or earthquake or something, but
my brain just paints this.
Yeah, how do you paint it?
Which I'm not. My theories, my pure speculation theories, don't make films, guys. So
right.
These far-fetched ones are not in the film. Like,
which is great because we're not doing spoilers. So haha.
No, yeah. But meaning either way, like I don't try to push my hard, opinion outside. It's just what I think, and it's what I think is like these buildings were already there, and the they go further down, obviously, and we're on a new level in a sense. And they built around it, and that's why a lot of these buildings, older buildings, especially when I was in New York, you see these little stairs going into the main door, because the main door is on the ground, so they have to build these little people stairs for us to get into the fucking building to begin with. So, and then it's like you're in the building, and like it's like you're actually on the second floor or third floor sometimes, it seems like. So it's one of these things where I look at it from a perspective of who knows how long these original buildings, before whatever happened, who knows how long they were there for, who knows how big these people were that lived back then.
Right. But
You
so
know?
again, do you think that they were, when people got there,
Yeah.
were these? Do you think that they were abandoned by their creators, or do you think that there were people like? Is this
I get what you mean.
where
Yeah.
were the natives living in these buildings? Like, who were
I
living
go
here?
back and forth, man. Half of me thinks that they all died in some huge event. Like they all died, and maybe some people from the outer lands came even 50, 100 years later to dig their bones up and to dig up their buildings and to start the New World Order, right? So I go that route sometimes because that makes sense. And then the other one is migration. They built all this. Who knows how long they were here again? Could have been hundreds, thousands of years that they were running everything. And, maybe because of how connected some of them were to our creator and maybe they got wind of something coming or something was going on. And
And we're
just,
the left behind. Yeah, that's pretty good.
they left. They left. I mean, if I'm 15, 20 feet tall, I don't know how tall they actually were in the most recent past, but, yeah, I'm probably gonna get up and go. There's no Antarctic Treaty back then, guys. So they're just gonna
That's
go.
a good one though. That's a good apocalyptic or Armageddon narrative, right? That the Armageddon's already happened, and well, they've already made that movie, but wrong. See, the movie is about it happening in the '90s, but it should have been in like the '90s AD. Like it should have been. And we're in the fallout. Well, looking also at pictures of dilapidated buildings, even nice stone ones, right? Yeah. These things start to fall apart a lot, and that's not even abating earthquakes. So I wonder a bit about that. What do you think about the idea that a lot of these are reconstructions? Like these are people that are finding the pieces and putting them back together again, because they've found where the original was or something like that. Like, do you think that there's a bit of that as well, or do you think it's mostly like just stumbling upon already completed, perfect cities that were just waiting for them?
I think both too. Again, I mean, I think that some of these structures were damaged in the event, and maybe they fixed them up, cleaned them up. Possibly they because of the picture they wanted to paint of their New World Order and populating the country and getting orphans here and Cabbage Patch babies and the whole thing, just getting everything here where they're in full control and they're teaching us their story now. Okay. For me, it's like, you could have it both ways. They can basically control the whole narrative from day one. So they could take who took the picture of San Francisco. There's no one around, no people are there. Well, they did, in my opinion. They're just snapping. They bring it back to their bosses or whatever. And what are we doing? What are we taking down? They're charting everything, scoping it out, figuring out what the plans were. And I think there are a lot of lazy planning involved in all of this that they did. They didn't have much time. I feel as if they basically wanted to educate everyone that came into this country with the false narrative. This is how you play God, man. You teach a whole bunch of children nothing but lies, and you start these. Especially with Santa Claus and everything. Everything's just thrown in to this bucket of lies that they started, and yeah, their past. They're gonna cover up the past, man. You can't have a Big Bang Theory. You can't have we came from monkeys when there's giants everywhere. That doesn't make any fucking sense. We're devolving, and they can't sell devolving in a public education system. There's no way. It's against everything. So it's weird, man, because again, but the other half of me thinks that, maybe they're just switching stuff around. Like they're like, we got to confuse everybody. Let's take that dome from Russia and put it on San Francisco, and then we'll take Chicago's dome and we'll put it up in Germany, and we'll just start fucking with shit, or we'll move something.
All right, well, it seemed ridiculous at first, but actually, I think they might have done that a couple of times with Russia and Germany. So fair enough. That might have happened once.
It's hard to prove, in my opinion, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, that's what it seems like, right? And then it seems like,
well, they have trains, yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like and to the people that go, oh man, the Tartaria deniers or old world deniers. Sorry about Tartaria. Just the old world overall deniers, right? Like, oh no, that's bullshit. Well, yeah, that's bullshit. It's like, number one, you're defending Rockefeller and mainstream education. Number two, where are you coming from with this? Isn't like, what are you talking about? And when I ask these people,
Yeah, like which like year did you go to elementary school and learn your history from? So I know which history I'm supposed to argue with, because like literally every 4 years or so, it's a new educational, like they change it so much, and your parents are like, wait, that's what they're teaching you now? Like if you really ask your kids, it's not the same lessons you got. Trust me.
Right? It's made to confuse children. A confused child is even more gullible, if you can imagine. So, man, it sucks, man. It sucks because people grow up with the History Channel. There's history buffs, and it's hard to let go. Same as like NASA heads. It's like,
yeah, it's nice to have like but you know, it helps if you just read comic books, because then you can remember that anything that you know is no better than a comic book. That's all. Like any school book you read or anything. But I think also the idea of like foundlings, you know, and like these kids being raised, it's interesting because, you know, like again, to me, and also to your point, like it seems like logical, like with the World's Fair, that you have, if you have disassembled pieces and you've got trains, then you're able to build and assemble a collage to show off, you know, to make it look like this is like a new thing that you like, to bring it to people and kind of demonstrate that this is your culture. Like I can see that, but the idea that these things were just abandoned for like, you know, 1,000 years doesn't make sense. So if they were for 10 years or yeah, if it was like 10 years or 100 years, or if it's really the foundlings, that some of these foundlings that are being taken and brought to other parts of the world. I mean, since people are being brought here, are the kids from here being brought elsewhere? I mean, what do you think about like
I think the Moors, I think, you know, I think there was a lot of melanated people already here, and I think I think it's reversed, man. I think everything's the opposite. I had a conversation with a old school hip hop rapper, Lord Jamar, from Brand Nubian, and he was telling me that the slave, all that stuff is bullshit. Like they took people, melanated people from here, and shipped them to Africa. Like, complete opposite. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So it's like when you start, it's like I feel like every single major story, like major, all the wars, right? No details about that, but all the wars. And then you got 9/11. It doesn't matter. Any major thing, it's like the opposite's true. They can't. The official story of these things are so fucking stupid. And you're like, what? Even again, I mean, you can go as little as the cow tipped over, you know, the candle, and Chalaga's gone. And it's like, what? Stone buildings are on fire. Why do people have a stone fireplace? What are we talking about? How stupid can we be? But it's, you know, this is some people think it's the age of what is Aquarius. I mean, the truth is coming. It's just pouring out, and it's a fun ride, man. It's a great time to be alive, and it's a great time to be alive when you know in your heart that we will win this war. Like we can, and we will, and I think we are right now in some senses. I think we are still winning this war overall, and we just gotta keep fighting, man. And people like you are doing a great job at that, and you know, all it takes is one thing that anyone can say at one given time to spark something in someone else's brain that's watching, and they're like, wait a minute. You know, those moments, those are the moments I live for in other people's lives, are those, wait a minute, you know, wait, hold on. And then they go look and they're like, oh, and I try to, this is what I'm trying to say. I always try to cause self-research, self-truth. I feel like I try my hardest to, that's my goal in my work, is when you watch it, you know, the naysayer will pause it and go, fuck that. That's bullshit. And now they look it up and go, oh shit, it's true. Okay, hit play. I try to set it up that way because I know that that's how I woke up to things. I need, you know, and I got to give that back to them. So with the old world, it's more, again, for me, and I'm sure you can respect this, I'm just trying to shed the light more on the deceptions and the hilariousness of some of their stories and timelines, and, you know, millions of square foot of buildings just thrown up real quick. It's just, it's kiddie jokes to me, and I have to show people, because grown-ups, you know, they don't know this stuff. They just, oh, I heard about the fair, you know, I don't know. They don't know anything. They don't know anything about anything. So I can't just start old world smacking them, right? Flat smacking I can do on a train, bro. Like I'll flat earth smack anybody all day, all night. We're not spinning. And an Uber driver, it doesn't matter. They're waking up that ride. But old world's harder. There's so many angles.
I find that interesting that it'd be harder for. I feel like it must be for some, depending on others, but you know, it is interesting because they're both things where you've built up your entire imaginary world around these rules and these, you know, like this is the rigidity of your system. So if you lose that, then a lot of people feel lost and they're like, I'm not sure where to turn. So it's difficult with either one. I think.
Sorry, I don't mean harder in terms of the yeah, because that sounded weird. I meant harder.
No, it's fair.
Harder to explain because there's so many pieces. You can't just be like, see that building, see the window, blah blah. Yeah, you know, and meaning like in an Uber ride sense, like hey, pull over, like look at it, see the window, and it's on the ground, right? And then this, that, and the other, and then and I have no time to do that in an Uber ride. Is my point. It's there's too much. It's too much, and it's even hard just to try to get a 60-minute or more documentary about this, man. That's why it's taking me. It's going to take a while, man. I'm not, you know, it's going to be a little bit more time because, you know, I don't want to lie to anybody. That is my pet peeve, man. I don't want to lie, period. So by shedding light on their deceptions, it's very simple how easy they lied. And yeah, I can show their lies and show their fibbing and show their covering up and show why they need to fake this. Why, right? Why do they need to do all this? And a lot of it to me is giants. I don't know if how you feel the same way. A lot of the cover up is you got to nip that. You got to nip that. That's one way to nip it. We built that. Yeah, 1 year. And I think, let me ask you this, man, because you're a genius with this type of knowledge. Why wouldn't they just say, hey, man, yeah, that building took 10 years. At least it's sellable. Did they not have that much time in their framed timeline?
Yeah, I mean, the Old West only was the period that we refer to as the Old West was less than 30 years, you know, like, so the amount of time that we're talking about, when you really think about it, because they're always acting like everything's for thousands of years and everything like that. But, you know, Italy's like 100 years old. Germany's less than 100, 200 years old, 100 years old, really. I mean, most of these new country and like the United States, our history is so recent, particularly really our history only starts in like 1844, you know, like if you think about it, that's when we become, I mean, 1791 is when we become a federal government, but it's really 1844 that we start like the Jacksonian Democrat march into what becomes like Lincolnian federalism. And that's the America that we remember when we think of like the United States. But that's a very recent time, you know, it's all happening. And these generations are maybe 20 years at a time, you know, even if they intersect. So
are they that dumb, or do they think we're that dumb that they could? I mean, there's this building out here in California it's a you know, call it 120-foot skyscraper, right? Fucking just a rectangle.
It's manifest destiny.
Hold on, carbon copies, floors, everything's carbon copy. There's absolutely no beauty to it whatsoever. It took 9 years in modern day. Like, and then they go, oh, this is a year for something double the size, stone and marble. No big deal. It took us a year back then with no power tools, with, you know, original crane technology. Yeah, you got some steam trains coming in. Yeah, I guess they could bring you stuff. But what are you talking about 1 year? 7 years would be more realistic and still kind of like, wow, that's
right. And these are like immaculately decorated on the inside with like invented new, each one's like, oh, that we invented this new electronic heating ceramic tile system just for this building or something like that. All these like amazing crafts. But the idea that people are showing up so rapidly, and so the best thing you can do is you explain manifest destiny. So right now we're a very presentist society. So we're like, wow, how could people be so racist that they think that it was impossible for other people to make these things? But it's really it's not without education that people were taught to believe that people were basically subhuman and they couldn't have possibly built these things. And it also probably a generation, like you said, after an environmental disaster, if you don't have access to your iPad and your Wikipedia for 25 years, like your kids are going to be different. You know, if we don't have books in your house or anything like that, because people have taken it for granted for a single generation, it's all been digitized. It's so easy to see how we would digress, right, or regress as a society. So I can see how that could happen to, you know, an amazing Tartarian society as well. even to the point of where the things we remember about it are like the steampunk things and like the things that like that worked to a later point. But I just also think the other thing is with people showing up so quickly, because you had trains all of a sudden, which is why it seems it was important they just dismantled. Like when we're talking about like the building of the railroad, a lot of it seems like it's actually like effort to dismantle railroad to make sure railroads aren't going to certain places.
And dig up the trails you want activated and get rid of the other ones. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about
Michelle Gibson in the film talked a little bit about trains and stuff. It might make the film. I don't know. Again, it's just with different with a new topic that could be. I mean, it's not about my editing time frame. It's about how long can this film be? How can I keep people interested? So I'm not there yet. I don't know, but I know she Michelle Gibson was mentioning a lot of that. We were walking around Arizona. They got some tracks out there that look like they were just dug up or something. It's weird shit, man.
Trains are pretty interesting. I remember it was in like Salta in Bolivia, and out in the middle of the desert, there was this train. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was just abandoned. It was like made out of iron and it was just a heavy, giant train. But it was in the middle of a salt flats. It's just like, okay, there's just so much more to this story and what the society was like before. But you were talking about giants, so I think you think are giants going to be a part of this to an extent?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk a bit about giants. Like, what's your vision on the giants?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up luckily with an OG truth seeker mom, rest in peace. But she, no vaccinations our whole lives, against all that, against, pretty much the school Cosmology, call it the Globe. Lot of stuff that took place in my childhood. But with giants, she always taught us about those. She always told us about them and how they cover it up and how they don't talk to us about it anymore. So at a young age, I was introduced to them, it wasn't until many years later did that process, and which is past I'd say 4 years, 5 years, start thinking about it again, start researching, seeing bones dug up, seeing newspaper articles, seeing. Obviously, for me, again, the way I operate in terms of the film room here is find the lies. Where's the deception? That's easier. The truth is hidden. It takes a long time. I like to show truth all the time, but let me find the lies first. I can go from there. And there's a lot of covering up of giant bones. A lot of this, the Smithsonian, pretty much the OG Men in Black that just come up and give me your shit, and it's out of here. And I'm a big believer in, and so are a few people in the film that. Dinosaurs. I mean, for me, like that, I grew up knowing that was bullshit too. Okay. And that's why we were able to play with or watch Land Before Time or something. Cause like, my mom's like, hey, shit's not real. So make sure before we play this shit. I'm like, oh, I know it's bullshit. I'm like, it's a Santa Claus movie, man. Don't worry. Let's watch it. So I knew that already too, but now I'm kind of linking them, and I might include a little bit of my opinion of this in the film possibly, but I just feel as if like they're digging up bones of giants and they're finding a lot, and they're like, dude, we're populating this whole country and people are still finding a 20-foot dude in their backyard. Like what the fuck, right? What can we do if they're finding 3-foot limbs? Like, what are we supposed to do? Well, you come up with dinosaurs and you sell it hard, and you keep repeating it. I could be wrong, but I heard something that the guy that invented the word dinosaur found the first fossil, apparently, or something of that nature. And it's just like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually an official, that was the actual story of that. But it's just one of these things where I look at it, I don't know how you do, but I look at that as, because I do believe there was big birds, big, I mean, dragons, anything, big, probably, 80 fucking times bigger elephants. I'm all about that. I'm all about that, for real, like, for sure. But these T-Rexes and all this shit, these little arms, that's fantasy, it's fairy tale. And I think it was to cover up giant bones. So they had a reason to come to your house. Just like if you film Sasquatch or something, I hear stories all the time that they somehow, some way, people come to your house like, we need that. You're like, what? Talk about being surveilled. Holy shit. So I look at it kind of from that perspective, where it's like you find some bones and they're coming and that's a Velociraptor Saurus 2.0. We need that. Goes to the Smithsonian. No one hears about it. It's over. And then they always have these, hit piece giant documentaries in mainstream that make you laugh at it. It's, it's behind the curve of giants, and it's fucking laughable. So there is no mainstream, in my opinion, approach to giants as a real thing. They take the opposite approach as like this fantasy kind of silly thing, but they push dinosaurs as real. So again, everything's opposite. I don't know how you feel about dinosaurs, but that's my feeling of the giants.
Just big birds.
Bones were covered up.
I feel like there were big birds. I definitely believe in big birds.
Not these guys, right?
Yeah, no. Not like that. No, you would break your back if you were like, I mean, it's, they're like foraging like a freaking, like it's like a vulture or a pigeon, but like 6-foot bird in South America with a razor sharp beak would definitely be freaky. Like I would still be, I think a giant bird's far scarier than any of the nonsensical dinosaur things. But then there's also like there's alligators and crocodiles. Like I think that they were just trying to find, also a lot of dinosaur like paleontologists and archaeologists are trying to find, dinosaur means like monster, big great monster. So the idea of trying to find a land monster and say like I found this, this femur bone is probably actually the pinky bone of this big thing, like that I found, like so I can name it like Steve Monster, Stevosaurus, or whatever. Like,
well, it could have just been a giant Komodo dragon or something, I mean,
yeah, but let me believe, that's like that's the vibe of Smithsonian. But I mean, giants are interesting for a couple of reasons. One, that we kind of talk about this idea that we're, the apex civilization and evolutionary step, when it seems like we see examples even with Neanderthals, even there's a soft disclosure, I think, that in the past people were bigger, and universities will tell you when we were nomadic, we were a foot taller and we lived decades longer, right? So they kind of infer that. But how tall do you think the Tartarians, or this old world civilization, how tall do you think these giants were?
Right? I would say between 6 and 12 feet, maybe.
Okay.
But I do feel as if they're getting higher, like 12, 13 feet tall humans, that means there's probably 15 to 20, man. Because if it's public knowledge where we can all go see that was true, that dude was 12-foot fucking tall, that's real, okay, that sets the tone, probably 15, 20 foot.
Yeah,
because they're not going to let that out, man. I mean, again, maybe one day, 10 years from now, we might be having a different conversation, man. But then, of course, the rumors on the Titans and the mountains and the way that it looks like faces and all this stuff. So there's a million angles my brain can go with it all, where we used to be really big, then we were only a little big, then we were like 12 feet, now we're fucking 5, 6 feet. So,
whales are 100 feet.
It's going to be nothing but midgets here. I don't know.
If whales are 100 feet, that's already a giant mammal, so I'll take it if there's a vapor canopy. But yeah, if you're talking about 10, 12, 15 feet, like that seems about reasonable. And so
I'm not making a film on 30-foot giants. No, man, I'm not I'm not gonna lie. Again, I don't like lying, bro. I hate it. So.
Attack on Titan is a good anime, though. Brittany L for 5 memberships. Thank you, Brittany. Anybody in the audience who would like to become a member, jump on it. This is your chance. There's a few locked behind paywall videos from this week, just from people getting rambunctious. Yeah, Brittany's rad. So in terms of giants, the other question is, if we're evolving or devolving rather, like what does that set a tone for? I mean, do you think that that's the case? Like we're devolving, like are giants better? Are we becoming worse?
I don't know if giants are better. From a lot that I read, they were bad people, just bad, bad, unless they started off good, ended bad, which it looks like our size species is going through right now, which is why we're all trying to help raise awareness, raise vibrations. But it seems as if, maybe the giants were just more advanced in certain fields, obviously, bigger, stronger, who knows?
Going around eating people.
Say it again. Going
around eating people.
Yes. Again, I mean that seems like, if that was the case from day one, what a weird world it used to be. Like, why you got this beautiful technology everywhere, and you're like, yeah, let's go outside and eat some people. So I again, we could paint so many fantasy pictures. I'm sure people like you and others have way more receipts than I do, but my opinion is just more, they ended up being really, really bad, man. Scum, right? Like, just you know, and I just don't know where we came from because I know we were side by side. That's for sure. So it's like, where are we from? It's not like where you just see Yao Ming in the NBA where it's like, oh, some random tall guy. It's like, no, who's his grandpa? You know, like who's his great grandpa? Like I just try to look into the girth and height of humans and how Yao Ming would be a midget in his family, possibly. We don't know anything. We don't know how far back this goes, when it kind of stopped, when we were both here, when it was just them, when it was both. Now it's just us. I don't know. There are remnants of giants still here in these known lands. But again, if there's more lands, for all I know, the giants, they're living somewhere else, man. They're chilling right now. They're not allowed back in here. You know, the Granada Treaty could have not, maybe it wasn't with aliens. Sorry, maybe Eisenhower didn't sign shit with aliens. Maybe it was with giants, man.
That's why the ice wall's so tall, yeah. So, I mean, the other thing is I'm
talking shit, but still, we just don't know. We don't.
Some of the stories with the giants, though, right, is that they're like Smithsonian giants they found with like 6 fingers or, you know, 2 sets of teeth. So it's interesting the idea that they're both.
Their breed, though. I still think there was five finger tall motherfuckers for sure.
Yeah, that's the question. Do you think that they're able to interbreed? Like, do you think that like those kind of giants with 6 fingers can interbreed, and that's why we're getting these 5-fingered 7-footers?
Hand sign was this, man, to make sure you weren't one of them, right? So, man, you know what it was? Maybe whether you're 15 foot tall or 5.5 feet tall back then, side by side. If you have 5 fingers, you were cool. Maybe the giants that have 5 fingers, the ones that didn't sell out to be a Mason, right? Put their hand in their pocket that day. But my point is maybe.
That's why if you have 6 fingers, you're gonna hide your hand. Yeah.
6 fingers are cannibals, maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking shit. The 6-finger ones were the bad ones, the cannibals. Maybe they were a mutation of a titan and a good, you know, a good 15-foot regular giant. So it's mind-boggling to think that we know nothing.
Yeah.
Because we were taught lies, and now we're getting rid of them. And it's easy for me, man. It's easy for me to just look. And that's what I tell people all the time. Just throw the book away. Throw earth science away from 2nd grade. Throw your Rockefeller history book that was printed by Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Throw these books away. It's like, we have to. Like, we can't just say all that's bullshit. Yes, we can. And I'm going to fucking tell you, it is. It's bullshit. All of it is. And there's no other way to have a new world order but have all of our minds completely believing lies. And I mean everyone. They won't stop till it's all of us, but we will remove them before that happens, man.
Ming became a member with one of Brittany's memberships and then donated another 10 memberships. So I think we're just flying around right now. So thank you very much, Ming and Brittany. That's very kind of you.
Shout out.
Yeah, awesome. That's cool. Also, because you said Yao Ming, I think, right at the same time as Ming's name came up, which was I love synchronicity. I do. I'm a fan.
Shout out Santo Menacci because he's the greatest syncretist.
Yeah. So with giants with 6 fingers, and okay, also in terms of books, like, you know, where you go with like the Bible, like where you go with religion, even or spirituality, like on those 3 levels there. You know, how do you feel about those things?
I'm very spiritual.
Whoa, Truth North or another 5. This is crazy. Good job, Truth North.
Shout out True North.
Wow.
True North, baby. The Black Rock. We got to go there one day.
This is good.
Sorry, what's the question again? It threw me off.
I know. I was just flattered. Yeah.
North Pole. I'm like, I need to go there. So like my brain. Go ahead.
I think it was. Was it the Bible spirituality, Bible religion spirituality?
I don't do religions. I don't do you know, whatever you want to call them, organized religions, right? Like I don't claim like Christian, Catholic, Lutheran, you know, all the millions of them. I don't do any of that, but I definitely have a very good connection to God, and you know, I just don't put a label on it. I have, you know, my own thoughts on all of it, which I think we all do. Now, there's no 2 people that are exactly the same, and if you are, it's a lazy word because cult means hidden knowledge, but that's a cult, you know, for all intents and purposes. So
creative utopia and living together.
I'm just trying to. Yeah. Well, hey, shout
real
out
quick. Also, Travis. Yeah, you're a beautiful man as well, and he's a member of the Discord for he's a member of the YouTube for 19 months, but also he's saying get weird, join the Discord because yeah, that's true. If now you're a member of this, you should jump in the Discord and get your privileges. So remember to do that. Go to tartarynova.com. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah,
I don't follow religions. I don't. If anything, I try to wake people up from maybe not doing that anymore. We need to all come together as humanity and know. We need to know that God's here. God's
But so yeah, but separating.
It looks like it's probably water, guys. It looks like the spirit, the source is right there, and he made all this for us, and we're fucking shitting on it, and we're allowing people to shit on it, and we're allowing people to eat kids. We're doing a lot of things to our Creator that I don't want to keep pissing him off. I want to continue to raise awareness and have peace in heaven on earth. That's what I want.
Right. So in other words, you're not, even though you're not a member of like the Free Range Luther Baptist Church of whatever, you are spiritually, you do have a spiritual side. Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, I do, man. I talk with my Creator every day. Our Creator. Sorry, it's not just mine. I talk with God every day. So, and God leads me to do certain things, make certain decisions. I trust him, and I'm just here to serve my purpose, for as long as I'm needed. And I think it's going to be a very long time. And I think even when the world is better, I'll still be needed because, there's going to be a lot of other topics that I want to read. The whole world needs to be retaught the truth, and that could be 30 years from now, man, before the process is cycling, where that is how our world's set up. I'm along for the ride. I'm one player in a huge train that is trying to mold our world back to harmony, to truth, to love, to peace. I'm one of many, but I'm very thankful and blessed by God that I'm in the train to begin with. Because
all people are you seem to be very popular. We got another membership gifted, Mythic Glass. Thank you very much. And then $10 from Brittany. Thank you, Brittany. Says epic guest. I think X Church might be right up his alley. And that's our time travel religion that we're going to build. So we're going to use time travel to make the perfect future, right? We'll just work together with our kids in the future to travel back in time and to like fix the timeline. It'll be awesome.
That would be great, dude.
That's our plan. But I think the Giants thing is with spirituality might be like, kind of tied together also, like, because it's this idea that, we're not just like random, that these things aren't just like, oh, wow, Giants happen, like maybe these things are kind of like connected to some sort of a divine plan or just some sort of a plan at all, is kind of interesting. What do you think of that? Like in terms of, did you have a biblical background? So do you think of Giants from like a biblical scenario? Like, are they like Nephilim, or do you think of them as, more like, what do you think?
I think of them as like I think of any group in the world. There's good ones, there's bad ones. So I look at it like, maybe the name of Nephilim might have been fallen angels, something bad, where, again, that does prove a creator. That does prove a God. That all of a sudden, whoa, we got 50-foot people here. What's going on? Well, yeah, I think only a God could do that for that year, right? Or whatever they want to do. They created it. So that's why a lot of the covering up of it and fantasizing of it to downplay it. But at the same time, I wasn't there. So I don't know. It does seem as if maybe the bad ones were Nephilim. Maybe there was just regular people like us that were just fucking 20 foot tall. They were good people. So I go back and forth. I don't know. They might have fucked each other, and then that kid had sex with one of our kind. We don't know if it was direct from them, but that's what the Bible says, right? So I'm just not one to quote any book that's free in my hotel. That's all. That's just me, though. That's me, because I know what kind of system and world we live in. And it's not going to be free in my hotel, guys, if that's all raw truth. That's not how the world operates. We all know that. So I try to stay away from any book. I'm not just picking on that book, any book. But at the same time, because the receipts are there, because the references across the board of all organized religion, in some sense, there's some giant story. There's some flood story. There's a lot of the stuff that relates to what we're talking about. So it could just be as simple as someone wrote a book back then of their experience and their story. And I think it's been a game of telephone ever since. Okay. I think they took a lot of stuff out, preferably I think they added in turn your cheek bullshit, right? With JC, right? Just turn your cheek. And I think that's all horseshit, guys, because they would remove scriptures, preferably the ones saying that if evil comes to your doorstep in the name of God, you fucking blow them the fuck up. And I wish Christians would get on board with that one, but they took it out. So for me, it just, with the game of telephone and not trusting the elite that set up this type of stuff, would they allow these types of churches to be opened if it was real? I mean, I'm a different type of guy, man, but I'm not shitting on anyone's religion. Especially if it makes you a better person. Please continue, actually. If it makes you a better person, all about it, man. All about that. But I'm not going to follow this, that, or the other. No, I just look at it from a perspective of the raw truth, the raw facts of having a creator. God's here. There, I mean, whatever God is watching. Whatever God is listening. Whatever God is powerful. And I think it's love. I think love is the most powerful thing in the world. And you know, maybe you can't. Maybe when you pass, if you're not vibrating at a certain frequency, if you're not, you're gonna recycle through that moon, or who knows what happens. But maybe if you are vibrating at a nice frequency when you pass, when it's your time, and your mind, your wisdom, everything is up. Your chakras are, everything's good. Who knows? Maybe now it's time to go to the kingdom of heaven, right? Now it's time to. You can't get to God without going through the sun, right? That's what we've all been taught. You got to get through the sun first. Well, maybe that's a portal in the sky. Maybe that's for the highest vibrating beings to finally make it. And you get to the light and you go. Again, all fantasy, guys, because it has to be an opinion no matter who you are. But that's one of mine. I just don't know is the point. So I'm not going to pick one book and go, that's the one. Fuck that. Never in my life. Never. Sorry. Hope that answers any questions. But, and again, I'm not religion bashing. If you're a Muslim, if you're Islamic, if you're Christian, Catholic, I don't care. I don't care. As long as you're a good person, read whatever you want, feel however you want to feel. When I see someone praying to a poster of a pregnant woman, right? An artist impression, and they're praying to it, it does bother me because that's false prophets to me. There might as well be Britney Spears on the wall. Sorry. What is that? What are you doing? Where are you channeling your emotion to? Oh, please, what are you doing? The creators can hear you at all times. You don't need any of this stuff. This is a brainwashing collectiveness of religions, in my opinion, and they have completely destroyed our world, caused wars and beef in the streets. I mean, religion is a big thing. So I think most religions, if not all, were brought here, created, fabricated, and dispersed to, again, a part of the New World Order. Now, I don't think they were cathedrals back in the day. I think they just slapped a plastic cross on and said, yeah, this is a cathedral. So it's always been since 11 AD. What the fuck are you talking about, 11 AD? It seems like these buildings were technology. These buildings were used for different things. It has nothing to do with that. And this is what they want to paint, man. This is how they paint it. And this is how it's so universally explained that I'm retarded.
They're tombs for the dinosaurs. Go back to sleep. Yeah, exactly. We got $2 from Travis. I think he said the stash. I'm pretty sure he means this one. Oh yeah.
Boom, he's back.
I don't know if anyone has any questions for Raph, but really, Raph, do you have any questions for Hibbeler here? What are you thinking about?
Well, first of all, I want to say, and please
put us. No, this is your punishment. This is your karma. Yeah. This is your dharma.
See myself in front of the screen. Just you. So, first of all, I want to say Sean has put up many different great documentaries. Check out his channel. Most of them actually are available, at least in standard definition, even for free. I know I've greatly enjoyed that. And especially, yeah, if you have anyone who's maybe not so hip up to it, it really does sometimes help to have very high production standards, basically, and do it in the way that you described, Sean, to really be able, to pick someone up and maybe have them reconsider something. The other thing I wanted to mention, because you talked about something I recently also spoke about with David, this whole idea of where does all this documentation come from, or these pictures, right? And what we talked about is the newspapers and the Gutenberg press. And I know this was one of the things that I always wondered about, but who would ever tell you more about it than 2 sentences in history in class, at least for me? How would they do that with the type of printing that they supposedly have, to arrange the letters? They had to do it backward. And then supposedly they had this super fine print oftentimes, printed the Bibles in so many languages. And then the modern machines, at least an official timeline, only came along 1880. And even if we add a few decades to say, okay, we keep some technology protected, or we don't release it to the public yet, there's not so much left. And then what you can even do is you can just backdate newspapers and, tell all kinds of stories about the Civil War and who knows what else. And then it really gets problematic, I want to say. And this is another thing I always wondered with, Jesuit books like the Bello Tartarico, you have the Jesuit steel stamped in front of it. And also too oftentimes you can actually see that they are printed, it looks modern. The books that are supposedly very old, they look modern. You can see how the print is spaced apart. And I always had wondered about this. So if that is correct, then, you know, it only makes the whole thing more difficult. But I like your approach in terms of unraveling deceptions first. Like, what can we all agree upon? Just, I like to say the same thing always. I'm like, we're on a plantation as long as we can't explore past the, you know, ring, wall, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's obvious, right? So there's not much more to discuss there even, and then everyone can go crazy about what they believe could be true or not. But the common cause should just be allow the free speech. Already that's difficult enough, right? And then free exploration of places beyond, and even just on the known surface area. How many places are military restricted areas where who knows, you know, what skeletons they couldn't remove or whatever it could be, right?
Well, they're sloppy, man. That's why a lot of my films are regarding how sloppy their deceptions and their psyops are. What are you clicking on? Oh yeah, it's the Entry Neverland. Again, a lot of these are free on YouTube, guys. This is just if people want to support me.
Bro, straight up, did you make like a documentary on how Michael Jackson was innocent?
Oh, 100% innocent.
You're freaking awesome. Like we should have started with that. That like,
dude, that
just gave me like another like I just got like another like 2 points of energy just from like good job, bro. Good job.
Thank you.
We're all fighting
again. Transparency and truth. That's what my slogan.
Yeah, that ties it all together. You're following all the truth, man. That's awesome.
That's a big one, though. Michael Jackson's a big one for the truth.
It's a really big deal. It's a bigger deal than it seems,
bro.
It's tied to Epstein, bro. It's all of it.
It's all tied in. He knew all the people in Hollywood that were doing this stuff. So, and P. Diddy had a big, huge role into that.
Yes, he did.
All on him. They were sending cancer charities over to his mansion through his agency. And Michael, being as good-hearted and naive as he was, come on in. Let's tour. Taking pictures and setting up their case and doing all this stuff to him. It's sad, man. It's a really sad story. You know, in my lifetime, I'm 39. And 39, I can only speak for 39 years. I can read stuff from the past. I listen to my mom a lot, but she agrees with me is the point. So did my grandma. One of my grandmas, not my other one. Racist as shit, but there was no one that I've ever seen come close to someone that cared about humanity like he did. Nobody was even close. Period. In terms from a vibrating standpoint, a soul standpoint, biggest heart. Most people didn't even know that most of his, if not all, of every concert he ever did. I'm talking about 2 million people out in Germany. You know, that all goes to children, man. He didn't make a dime from his concerts. He could have been a multi-billionaire, just an extra multi-billionaire just from the shows he did worldwide. And he gave it all
That's
back.
The intrinsic. That's why it matters also on like a direct to market level. Because if you don't listen to Michael Jackson, then I mean that money goes to children. You know what I mean? Like he set up a charity to help victims of human trafficking or child victims of human trafficking.
Oh, who cares?
And the money,
man. Who cares? Who cares?
But since he was dead, like all that money's supposed to go to that charity, except if there's no money because no one's buying the music. Spotify.
He's not dead, but that'll be part 2, guys.
That sounds awesome.
I'm not laughing, but yeah, he's not dead.
Dude, I hope to God that's true. That would be really cool. I'll watch that.
I'll send you something. I'll send you.
Is he in Syria? Is that the one? Is that the thing? Is he like living in Syria or something?
No, it's none of this stupid Elvis Tupac bullshit. I'm being dead ass, guys. I even got what's his name? David Robert Steele before he died. He was on. It was audio only, but I got a clip of him saying that he knows the head of LA's coroner's office. I'm sorry, Robert David Steele. He knew the head of the LA's coroner's office. He ain't coming that day. Michael. They told him that he's been here this whole time. But he's the one behind the scenes doing everything, trying to help everything. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of, that's far-fetched. Then listen, man, I know we got to go soon, but from 2009, when Michael Jackson was pronounced dead, it hit me hard. I was like, wow, man, that was my childhood hero. That's a rough one. We got no one left. Who's left? Fuck, no one's left, man. It's all bad now. Fuck. No one powerful, in my opinion, was left that could help or, good Dude, person.
First Sega Dreamcast, then Michael Jackson. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah. No, yeah, the Sega Dreamcast. But listen, man, it was one of those things where I was sad, it's fucked up. My whole family, and it's just like, damn. And my mom was still here too. So we were all like, damn. And I would glue to the TV. That's probably the only time in my life I actually turned CNN on, every day was for that. And I remember when the funeral came on, I'll leave you with this. And I'm looking at his daughter, and it's one of those moments where you're a grown up, you're a grown man, but you're like, I think I'm about to lose it here. I hope she doesn't start crying on stage at the funeral, because I might lose it at that point. And she gets up there, and again, he's dead to me at that point. He's dead. He's died. And her speech sparked something in my brain because she fake cried. Okay. And then she smiled and looked up for reassurance from her aunt on stage. Go watch it. And at that moment, my almost tears turned into, what the fuck is happening right now? And I remember looking at my brother, and I'm like, did you see? He's like, dude, that was weird. And I'm like, everybody out. And I researched that from 2009 up until 2014. That's all I did, guys. I already knew about 9/11 and all that, but all I was doing was researching this. And he's beyond faked his death. I don't know if he could have died yesterday is my point. I'm not claiming anything as of today. But that shit, Eric Dubay saved me from that rabbit hole, because that was a big one. And I felt alone. There was some videos made, a couple million views here and there and stuff about that. But Teddy Riley's his best friend. For years, he's his best friend. And Teddy Riley's in an interview saying, yeah, I did tweet that he's alive, and I don't want to sound crazy.
He knows all these like sultans in like Saudi Arabia. Like he could easily be like living in a castle in a tower, inside of a tower.
I'll send you something. I think he's got a body. He's got a couple bodysuits, but I got some stuff. I've only showed Eddie Bravo and Sam Tripoli this, but
Michael Jackson made the soundtrack for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah, but they had to like scramble it a bit so that they took his name off of it.
Of course,
which is really sad.
Yeah,
super
because
messed up.
The owner of Sega is a pedophile, and they're like, "Fuck, we got to pull him out." No, but it's just the point. It's the point of, I'm not trying to damper my name in any way with saying I don't think he died, because I have receipts, guys. Trust me. If anyone's watching this and you're on Rockfin, go watch Sam Tripoli's show where I talked about this, and go watch Eddie Bravo's show. Look into it episode number 54. I'm the producer, so I know what number. Episode 54, Eddie Bravo. I show everybody. I put a lot of my cards on the table, not all of them. But I'll tell you, man, it's really weird. It's really weird. The whole Michael Jackson thing is really weird. And I look at it from a fantasy standpoint of maybe he's trying to save everybody as we fucking speak. How would you know? The TV? So no, right? No, not at all. Especially in a real war that's going on. No.
MJ is Q. That's the new conspiracy. MJ is Q.
Covered that. Listen, I'm not a Q guy. I'm not a Trump head at all.
But the meta of it
is because Eddie is. I patched those together. I did tell.
Is Eddie a Trump head? Really? I didn't know that.
In a sense, a hopeful one. One. That's all I'll say. I'm not.
We're all hopeful.
He's a hopeful guy.
Trump didn't drain the swamp. And he didn't arrest Hillary, but he did nominate the current Pfizer board member Scott Gottlieb as FDA commissioner. Banned bump stock. Sealed the JFK sign. Signed the CARE ad. Called himself the father of the vaccine. Said that Fauci should be a hero. I don't know. There's a lot of things he did, but maybe next time he'll do better.
I'm with you, but if your audience is with us about Trump,
I'm with it. I'm with stupid. I want the T-shirt that says "I'm with stupid," but with an American flag arrow. It'd be cool.
But hey, don't judge me on Eddie's show, because Eddie asked me, hey man,
I love
Trump. Let's link the Trump stuff in, because Trump and Michael were cool with each other, man. So, that is strange to me. It is strange.
That's true.
And with this whole, because Eddie's a guy about something called devolution, and there's a lot of executive orders, and Eddie is looking at the Trump thing from a perspective of he's an undercover guy. He's an undercover agent. There's something way bigger going on, and he's got to be in there and play the role sometimes. He's got to do that during this whole thing. He's a very hopeful guy. So this is what I tell people like Eddie that think that. I hope you're right. And that's all I can say. I'm not going to be like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You're look at this, look at this, look at the guy, Pfizer, this, that. He brought Johnson & Johnson guy on stage. He did this, he did that. Because the backlash would be, of course, he's under fucking cover. So it's never going to go anywhere. It's never going to go anywhere. I hope you're right. That's how I chuck it up. And I think that's how everybody should chuck it up in a sense. Like, dude, I hope that's right. And I
just a lot of concessions is all.
Well, the lady that came in the comment right now and said Michael's Q, you'll get a kick out of episode 54 and look into it on Rockfin which is free right now, by the way. And because I actually show Michael Jackson's symbology in terms of his Neverland Ranch, and it's nothing but Qs. So it's very strange, to say the least. And again, I am not a QAnon guy. I am not a pro-Trump guy, okay? I did have my naive moments about Trump in the past 6 years. I think we all did, okay? There's been some naivety to it in a sense. But overall, gun to my head, I'm like 95% sure he's controlled op all the way. That 5%, as stupid as this sounds, and I could lose audience for this, that 5% of he's good is that undercover agent working with Michael. That's the only fantasy I have.
It's worth it.
The only fantasy I have.
It's worth it fantasy to live.
That man, but I'll tell you, that man does not. That man, Donald Trump, does not change my opinion on Michael at all.
That and time travel. I love time travel, so he gets in with me with that. But otherwise,
conspiracies, man. But at the same time,
of course,
some of them could be real, some of them couldn't be. But I do
have put them up on the wall.
Man, I
gotta wait until the strings tie. Yeah, that's good. Well, all right. Okay. Travis says, play a little I'm Gonna Walk to the Heartland. That's my favorite on Patreon. I'd love to, but I don't have that one on here. So I could just play this one for a second for you, buddy. Here's some AI music. AI. Lemke Ultra, baby. All right, there you go. There's your, all right, that counts. And yeah, make sure you guys go check out HibbelerProductions.com. I just want to make sure that you guys saw that again. Make sure you do Hibbeler Productions because he's got his documentaries. He said that they were in SD, but I think a lot of them are actually in HD available there too.
Of course.
And you can donate.
Website, it's HD. Yeah, everything's HD on my website. That's kind of like that's how I kind of set my life up to not have a 9-to-5, where I can get a little bit of donations. Most of the films are $2.
Yeah,
but
which is awesome,
right? It's quantity to keep my lights on. So
at
but
the same time, it helps. You can this is a lot of people. If you wanted to show them stuff beyond like the old world, I'm sorry I didn't even jump into stuff like Maui and 15, but talking about stuff like direct energy weapons, like that circles right back from Antiquitech to what they're doing with the stuff now. So I encourage everyone to check these out.
Talking about Maui, relating to the old world, and I'm going to be comparing the aftermath of a lot of the great fires to Maui's aftermath, and possibly Chile's and Colombia's too, since that's going on as we speak.
Awesome.
It looks the same, guys. Let's just be real. It looks the same.
Yeah.
It's very similar. The buildings are sliced in half. I mean, seems like they had nothing new under the sun, man. They probably had this for a very long time, and now we're seeing it again. Maui and 15 is free on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. But again, the reason I put on my website is for the people. They know. I'll get an email. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why did all these people donate Maui this week? Only like 5 people or something. But it's like, why? It's free, and they just want to support. It's a way that they watch it for free on Rumble, or they watch it for free on YouTube, and they're like, holy shit, man. Oh, my God. And then they go to my website, and they're like, oh, great. Let me give them $2. I download it to my hard drive. Now you own the film. And it helps keep my lights on. That's it, because I'm not a greedy person. And now that I'm teaming up with Stu Peters for Old World Order, because the fundraiser was going a little slow. I'm like, damn, only flat Earth movies get funded, I guess. Like, damn. So Old World Order was going a little slow. And dude, times are tough. So I'm just like, hey, this gives me more opportunities to research. This gives me more time to do this. But then Stu Peters was like, I need you to do a film with me. I got something big this year. And I'm like, I'm doing a film right now, man. Old World Order. He's like, how long is it going to be? I'm like, it could be 6 more months. I don't know. He's like, fuck that. He's like, what's stopping you from trying to get this done in the next 3 months? And I'm like, ooh, 3 months. I'm like, well, I still got like 5 more flights left. That's for sure. He's like, it's on me. He goes, it's on me.
Oh, wow.
Like, what do you mean? He's like, stop your fucking fundraiser. You're with me now, dude. He's like, we're going to get this Old World Order done. I'll release it for free in 4K on my Rumble. So now I don't have to charge anyone anything moving forward in my life. And then the next film me and him are going to do, I'm not going to say now, but it's going to change the world. So that should also be out by the end of the year. I think it has to be, in a sense, because the information's got to get out. But at the same time, I mean, he's a true fucking warrior, man. Go follow Stu Peters on Rumble. Go watch his show, guys. He's unbelievable what he's doing for the world right now. He's got the balls to say what he's saying. I'm just glad I could team up with someone like him that is raw, authentic truth, doesn't care about feelings either. And we're trying to save our the world's children, man. I mean, period. But yeah, Stu came in big time for me, man, because I'd still be waiting probably right now just to have enough donations coming in to go to, say, Florida to see Narcolongo, right? Like, I'd still be waiting present day. So I thought this film was going to be out late summer. And now, dude, I could probably get this done in 90 days. I mean, that's my goal. Because I'm done traveling for the most part. So I might be starting Stu's next film with him while I'm finishing this one on the plane. You get my point. So I'm going to be very busy coming up. But we're going to be making films, in my opinion, me and Stu Peters, for years to come, guys. And that's a great announcement for anyone that knows me, because now we can throw these $5 donations away forever. I'm not saying you don't want to support me. I hope you still do. But we could pretty much put that under the rug, because everything me and Stu work on together, including Old World Order, will be free for you. It'll be free for them, and it'll be in the highest quality. No more standard definition game, which I didn't want to play, man. But it's like, dude, I got to get a 9 to 5 if I don't do something. What can I do to make a little something to stay here, continue making films? And that's when I came up with the standard def is free, high def's a couple bucks. I've been doing that for years, and I'm barely surviving. So now it's very nice. I'm just praising Stu because he's eliminating a lot of that uncomfortableness of asking for money or asking for fundraiser donations, traveling, all this stuff. I don't have money. So now it's coming in where it's like, dude, we're going to be making a lot of good films. And I'll tell you only one of them out of the next 3 we are going to make. I'm only going to tell everyone one out of the 3 topics. One's going to be about chemtrails. And when I say about chemtrails, I don't mean loosely. I mean, the highest of highest form of whistleblower in the history of this topic. So I'm not going to name names yet, but we just want to change the world, man. So with people that are listening, if you want to support me, just go to my website, get any, most of the films are $2 and then you get something in return. I don't like donations for nothing. I don't want people throwing me $50 for nothing. I get this cringy feeling like, ugh. Like, no, just go to the website. You might like a video. There's your donation. You get something in return. You're not hitting a button and going to bed. You're hitting a button and you're going to be informed and educated on a topic you were interested in. Pick your one. Pick your poison.
And it's a video that has a lot of the people that you know and love and their expert information that they've honed in over their years of research, and it's just a piece of that and a piece of that. So it's something that's going to be really interesting because for instance, we love Martin Leakey. I love to watch 2 hours of Martin Leakey several times a week. But if you are to try to make in 60 minutes and you're going to take a few minutes of Longo and Leakey and Gibson, I mean, these are guys that are known to be able to really just be able to talk. So to be able to get
Matthew Smith at the bottom, he is a 25-year architect, man. And in my opinion, he's a whistleblower. And that's funny to people, I'm sure. But man, he's been an architect for so long that he knows what's going on, in my opinion. And he said a lot of stuff in this film. And Johnny's my buddy. Johnny's in a lot of my films.
I feel like I've met Johnny Giampapa. Am I wrong? Or have I met him in the future? He looks very familiar.
Possibly. He was in the next level. I'm sorry, no. He was in Level, and then he was in Level with me as well. He's my buddy.
Has he visited Timcast or something? I don't know why. He just looks so familiar.
He's the best tattoo artist in all of California, but he's only been in a couple of my projects. People always like, why do you put your friends in there? I'm like, fuck off. I do whatever I want.
That's what you do, bro. Kevin Smith, your life, bro.
Johnny knows more about the old world than I do.
I want to be friends with Johnny. I've decided to be friends with Johnny. He looks like a friendly guy. Yeah, cool.
Johnny's a badass, dude. I love
Johnny. And Max Egan's amazing too. I just love that the people that you've gotten together. So the point is that every one of these people are going to give you like gold, and you're going to have it just like in form factor. So I really recommend watching this documentary. I'm pretty excited.
Thank you.
Yeah,
man.
I hope
The
you guys
team
all.
does-
I know you can tell from my like monotonous, haven't slept voice, but I'm actually really stoked on this, bro.
I appreciate it, man. It's going to be a one-on-one film that everyone in your audience will enjoy and like and be like, this is really good. I hope, but at the same time, it's really for your audience to go, all right. Instead of sitting here watching podcasts or this or that or slideshows or whatever that
It's
they
an
might not
hour's
be
quick.
interested in.
An hour's quick, actually, considering like how much data that people like to watch. And so to have, something that you can quickly kind of get some sound bites from and you know what to say also when you're talking to your family, like when you're in Thanksgiving, like there's like some quips that are going to come out of Max Egan, I'm sure, that are useful. So, I mean, yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah.
You did good. Thank you, man. And My Lunch Break to me is Rookie of the Year. He's a newer channel and he's turning a lot of heads. He was even mentioned on Joe Rogan's show. And that's big time stuff, in my opinion. That's millions of people listening to that show. I'm not a huge Joe Rogan fan by any means, but it's just the point. It's like,
who's that guy again? Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he goes over some cool stuff. He's important in the
No, I was actually just doing a Joe Rogan. See, by like pretending not to know things. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, that's most of the show. Right? That's most of the show, unless it's.
I love him. I kid the Rogan. Well, okay. Yeah.
It'd be great if you have me on. He'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, dude, I did films with your friend Eddie. Like, what? Like, you don't want to have me on and talk about some old world or some flat Earth? Never. It will never happen. So.
Who's the guy who's good at Tartaria?
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was just on Joe Rogan's show, the football player, Aaron Rodgers. And he was very vocal about the trafficking stuff and the Jimmy Kimmel on the list and all that. But he mentioned the old world on the Joe Rogan show, guys. And you see Joe just shut it down. And he's just like, bunch of kooks in that field. I've just shut it down. And I'm like, oh, is this Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan in 2015 all over again? Talking about flat Earth. I mean, just shuts it down instantly. So, and it intrigues me even more to go harder in the paint, man. But I got to go harder in the paint. I got to keep my 101 hat on because even someone like Joe, yeah, you're going to learn something, buddy. You're going to learn something with this one. You're not going to be a fucking no more kooks in this field, guys. I'm not trying to prove really anything in this film. I'm trying to wake people up to the hilarious lies that we've been fed our whole lives, man. That's really how I can put it. It's hilarious, these lies, as you guys know. And it deserves a film. It's as simple as that. And I hope I make you guys proud, man. That's all I can do. I hope I can make you guys proud. I'm happy to announce that I'll be, you could shed some light on Dr. Nakalongo because I'm going to be giving this to him to make sure it's good. You know what I mean? Make sure like I'm not, because he's a very smart guy and intelligent. He's like me, no lying. There's no reason for lying. So I'm going to have him take a look before the public does.
Sweet.
Yeah. Just to, I'm not perfect, man. But
that's good. You're checking on your work, and like also your work is, interviewing people that are experts in this field. And so like you're not supposed to know more than everybody involved. And this is the best way to make sure that everybody knows as much as they can from all of them. And so yeah, I think this is a great project.
I know more than BJ about this topic, but BJ Penn, again, the reason I went to Hawaii, is because of Maui.
Because of the dues,
the tie-ins. How else what's a better way to connect Maui to the old world than to go and see the runner-up governor, the guy that actually is loved the most in his entire state than any human being walking there is BJ Penn. He represents Hawaii.
Yeah.
He is Hawaii, and he admits on camera that all of the Hawaiians, they have no idea where they're from. They don't know who they are. They have one stupid story about how they got here. And for all we know, man, they were on the land of Mu. They were on another continent that got sunk in, and they're left sitting there. We don't know a damn thing.
Right.
There's no one better to get for me to talk about Hawaii than BJ Penn. And he does love Michelle Gibson. That's his like number one thing. And so he is into the topic, but no, he's not.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. He's into Michelle Gibson. I know when I was on Sam Tripoli's, I talked about Hawaii. So like, again, like it's interesting. You're going after the sources and talking to the experts directly about these particular issues. So this is going to be a really interesting documentary because, we're looking at all of these different pieces together. And I hope that the audience is going to make their own, critical debate in themselves about what they think is really true. But this is the point. Most of the things you've heard, probably deconstruct those lies. It's probably time to do that. And like at that point, you can start to figure out like, what do you think is really epistemologically true. So yeah, I look forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you for the time, the energy. Thank you to your audience for watching, and hopefully I make you guys proud. It's kind of the same scenario I was in when I started the first one, and kind of like Eric Dubay was that Dr. Narcolongo for me. And Eric Dubay, but Eric, blah, 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 how does this look? Is this right? Or, I mean, we don't know there's more land, so should I put it? And he's like, yeah, dude, no, that's fine. That's, innocent approach to it. It's like, look what Bird said, right? Admiral Bird, look at this, look at that. Show the facts, show the receipts, show some stuff. So it's kind of Dr. Narcolongo. He's going to, I haven't bugged him yet about the film. I don't, I would say I'm 20% done if I'm lucky right now with the whole film. But, once I start getting some closure to like pieces of the film, I'm going to be shooting them over to him. Not saying anyone else isn't qualified to do that. It's just,
No, but he's great. He's a good person he's a good person to work with. He's one of the only people I trust.
I'm going to need someone like that, man, because the last thing I ever want, and my biggest fear in life is, oops, I shouldn't have put that in the fucking film. Like, I made a mistake. And that's all I don't want to do.
That's a good way to think about life, though. You want to make sure that it's like the important, objective, critical stuff.
I'm a perfectionist.
Oh, really? You could have said that at the beginning, and I would have understood a lot. But like, okay, all right, well, that's great, guys. There's a Virgo who's making this documentary. I mean, are you kidding me? He's a Virgo documentarian. It's perfect.
It's never being released. I can never hit that release button. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is just call it. You should call your productions the rough drafts. That's the way to do it. Somebody asked in the contact they want. And John Levi is cool too. Whoever brought that up. Shout out to John Levi. And at any point you ever go to Utah, talk to John Levi. And then Program sending £2. Thank you. So many shows lately. Thank you, Andreas and guests. I would call Raf a co-host, but that's true. He's a guesting host, so that's cool. But yes, I appreciate that as well. And then someone had asked where the Discord link was. So just finally, let me say, go to tartarinova.com. At tartarinova.com, you can click on the Discord link, and it'll take you to the Discord where you can find the members of the Xirtus Discord chat, where there's radio chat, and there's AI art, and there's all the links to all the things, including to Hibbeler Productions, which you should also remember to link to. One more time, everybody go to hibbelerproductions.com. All right.
You guys, do you guys, the teaser trailer is super short. Do you guys mind showing your audience the teaser trailer?
Oh, that'd be great, actually. Let me
listen, guys, the official trailer should be out, I hope, by the end of the month, if not the beginning of next month. Meaning the official trailer.
Thank you for giving us the permission to play your trailer, actually. I just wanted to.
Of course.
Yeah, awesome. So here we go.
Oh, hit pause. There's no sound.
Is the audio working?
I don't hear it.
Oh, Boulder Dash.
Just have them.
No.
We'll take a look at it.
We're going to make this happen, man. Hold on. Check this out. Present.
But yeah, hopefully the official trailer with scenes from the
Victor story.
Can you hear it now?
Is fabricated. What if the story they gave us all about a recent past?
Is there still audio or no audio?
Yeah, you rewind it if you can. But yeah.
You could hear it now, bro. Okay, great. Okay.
It's just loading.
History is written by the victors. So what if the Victor story is fabricated? What if the story they gave us all about our recent past was nothing short of a complete lie? For far too long, humanity has relied on the Board of Education to receive its official history narrative. The problem is their narrative makes absolutely no sense. There are giant mistakes in the timeline that show us all. Not only did they lie, but they hid the previous civilization from us, with no mention of our ancestors looking a little different, traveling with no issues, doing it all in style and efficiency, with beautiful architecture that we can't rebuild today, powered up cities, riding around on their advanced technology. Advanced technology? Wait, I thought the 1800s into the early 1900s were a bunch of idiots riding around on horse and buggy. Because when you look back and do a little research, it's obvious. This old world was discovered and then destroyed, resurfaced, and populated. They torched every city across the plain. Nothing new under the sun. Rockefeller flooded your brain with lies. Use your head. Think about your family tree and how it all began.
Old World Order. Visit OWOfilm.com for more information.
I dropped David Bloom Jr. because I talked to him for a little bit when I had him on my show. He's an author on the topic, and we were WhatsApping each other, a few calls here and there. I'm like, do you want to jump in the film? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, do you want to be on film? He's like, no. I was like, I'm like, do you want to do like a little narration piece or something fresh and new? And he's like, yeah. And then I haven't heard from him since. So literally I have not heard one word. I hope he's okay. But I'm like, all right, I got to drop it. He's not going to be in the film, nor was he going to be on camera anyway. So it was an easy one to just.
Oh, I loved your narration, actually. That was what I was going to say. It reminded me of like, and this is a very particular reference, but like there's like a 1989 video toaster infomercial where they're like, never before has there ever been a thing. Oh yeah, I don't know, I'm not gonna even give it credit. I'm gonna send you a link to it, but okay. I love that style, and I think it's very entertaining, and I think it's really fun. I think people will enjoy this documentary because like you said, on one hand, even if you're familiar with some of this information, it's going to be really fun to listen to and to see, and the pictures are tight and edited well. I mean, you're doing these like clean Ken Burnsing. I think it's gonna be an enjoyable thing to watch nonetheless. And even beyond that, there will be things you probably haven't heard because it's just all of it at once. So I think it's gonna be really it's a wonderful project you've got.
Thank you guys. Thank you again for having me on. Hopefully I get back on the show. Maybe when the film's out, I'll send it over to you guys, or just go to Stu Peters Rumble for free yourself. But I'll just send you the link, and
we'll be in touch.
If you want to talk about it on the show, we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do another. We'll do a part 2. We'll do half of part 2 will be recapping Old World Order, maybe, and then the other half we'll do Michael Jackson. Then.
Oh, you're totally tied in for time travel for the rest of time with us now, so don't worry.
I'm down.
Yeah, dude. To the future. All right. Peace.
Thank you.
This next story has been suppressed by mainstream media. Let's go to Andreas for more.
Everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent Tartarians. Recent Tartarians.
Hello. Welcome to the Xirtus. Tune in for another exciting episode of wonder, imagination, and discovery.
Recent Tartarians.
Она образует всеобщие закономерности, определяющие законы классической физики для нашего
Sometimes I
мира.
look at the moon and just think, the skin's beautiful. Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown.
Что касается энергии нано, то она превышает ядерную в немыслимое число раз. 10 в 74 степени.
That's it. That's it. That's it. With your arms now. That's it. That's it.
Thank you for watching Xirtus. Keep listening. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, please follow and subscribe and share and support. It really helps. Coming up next, Xirtus.
By the way, that's gone. If you didn't record that, that's gone forever. It's gone.